Hey, this is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about how if someone wants a meeting, always ask for an agenda. Alright, so back when I was a permanent employee or a contractor and I was working in an office, I used to love meetings. In fact, I still really appreciate the value of a good meeting, right? When having emails go back and forth or having Slack or instant messaging, it just is so difficult to communicate that way sometimes that, just getting everybody in the same room is really, really productive. Getting everybody to, first of all, you get the better, connection between people. If you're meeting with a business owner, you can understand what their concerns are. You can see the expressions on their face if they're unhappy with something, whatever. If you're working with other developers, you get that, they can discuss their concerns, you can discuss your concerns. It speeds up the process. A lot of times you get things, a meeting is so much more efficient than doing everything via text or via email, right? So I used to love meetings. I still love meetings, but and one of the biggest things I used to hate when I go into meetings was somebody came up with an agenda. Because then it was like, okay, we're just going through the motions now, and they'll say, okay, first we discuss this, then we discuss this, then we discuss this, and then there's all of the business, and then we got to get out of here in 3 minutes or whatever like that. But I got it, right? People have things to do, people have places to go. And one of the big failures I've had over the years is that I get into meetings that can go on for hours when I scheduled half an hour for it. And I would be like, okay, look, dude, I really got to go. And so, but we need to discuss this, and it's really, really difficult. But back then, back when I was working in an office and I was a contractor or a permanent employee, I was always paid to sit in those meetings. And now when I'm doing client work, if I'm doing like a fixed project piece of work, a lot of the times I'll get clients call up and say, hey, can we have like a meeting or a weekly meeting or a meeting to discuss something, whatever, and I have to make a decision of whether or not that meeting is worth my time, right? A lot of times I'll ask for an agenda and I'll say, I need an agenda before I agree to this meeting. And they'll go, yeah, but we'll be really quick. We just think it would be better just to get everybody in the room. And say, well, right now I think we need to try to communicate via email because my time is important, your time is important, everybody's time is important. Everybody in that meeting will be paid for being in that meeting except for me. So I need like some idea of what we're going to discuss so that I can prepare for that meeting. And a lot of times that doesn't go over really well. To just ask for an agenda, but it's important, right? A lot of the times, for those of you guys who are doing work with clients or you're the developers, you might still think of yourself as being a cog in the big machine. But a lot of the times you have to think of yourself as another company. If you're an external contractor, if you're doing a fixed price piece of work, you're providing a service, you're providing a product to them, and you're an equal company that are coming together to do something. They're paying you to do it, but they're paying you to do what you've quoted them to do. So if they want something additional that you do not quote for, you have to either say, I need to invoice for this project, or at least allow me to be ready for this meeting. If you do agree to the meeting, I agree to meetings for free all the time. I rarely ever bill somebody for the meeting. I know I should. Everyone says, oh yeah, you need to invoice them. If it helps get the project done, I'll do it, but I need to know what it is to begin with. Back when like 20 years ago, I can remember, I used to agree to meetings with anybody. I was working in a company, and I was a lot when I was still a permanent employee. And a business owner came over to me, or the owner of the business I was working at came to me and said, where are you going this afternoon? I said, I got a meeting with, Bill Peterson, whatever, And she says, oh, what's the meeting about? I said, I don't know, he just wanted to meet with me. And she says, do you think it's wise to agree to a meeting without an agenda? And I said, I don't know. Because back then, my time was worthless. In fact, she was the one paying me for my time. The one who was asking me about the agenda, she was the one paying me for my time, not Bill Peterson at this external company. So I totally get why she was asking me. When you're working for yourself, you have to realize that you're paying yourself for your time. So you have to be equally scrupulous about knowing what a meeting's about before you agree to it, right? A lot of the times, in my experience over the last 10 years or so, a lot of times a meeting is a substitute for someone who's having difficulty communicating themselves through the written word. If they write everything down, then you can deal with it, you have a record of it, you know everything that needs to be done, and you can actually address each one of those points in a meeting. But if they want to do it because because they can't be bothered to write things down, like, oh, it's easier just to discuss it with you. That's something I've gotten over the years too. You know what? I was going to write down all the issues I was having through testing, but I thought it'd be easier just to call you. I'm like, well, yeah, but you interrupted my flow of work. You interrupted my day because you couldn't write it down. That's like, there's a power imbalance there. So it's something I wanted to bring up. It's something that's come up a little bit recently. And it sounds like I'm moaning about it, but it's something that, for those of you guys just getting into it, it's something to think about. It's not unreasonable if somebody says they want to have a meeting with you to say, great, can we please just outline what you would like to discuss in this meeting, any questions that might arise, just so I can be ready for those, and just have some sort of agenda so that we know, so I know what we're going to discuss before I agree to this meeting. It's really important. Always ask for an agenda, especially if you're not being paid to be there. Right? So anyway, I hope that's helpful. Hey, everyone, thanks for liking and subscribing. Oh, don't forget to join our Discord server. There's a lot of really good developers on there. Everyone's helping each other out. I love going on there. I don't contribute as much as I should, but everybody else is helping each other out, which is amazing with their app development. That is it for today. I'll talk to you guys again